Our next speaker is Sarah Farmer. She's a global executive coach at EMR Consulting. I'm looking forward to your presentation, Sarah, especially with the things happening in the chat. I'm sure you'll have a lot of answers for some of those questions and concerns, so I will let you take it away.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and welcome to everybody. Let me just share my screen. Yeah, so I've been listening to Roy and to Hanneke, and what I'm going to be talking about is something along the same lines. We're talking about how do we attract and retain top talent? How do we create environments that people are inspired and attracted to, and when they're there, they want to stay? I'm going to talk to you about similar things you've just heard, but I want to go a little deeper. I want to go into how do we create, I think Roy called it, I'm just going to look for my notes, the human deal. So I'm going to be talking about human psychological needs. Hanneke's always mentioned them as well. But we are going to be looking at today a little bit more detail about what you can do about these challenges you're facing that are in your control, or at least within your sphere of influence. What tends to happen when we're under pressure and when tension's high is we start to look at everything we can't control and focus on the things that are really scaring us and really bothering us. And this is all about being a really good leader of yourself. And when you can do this, you can start to make great decisions and do what I'm going to talk to you about now even better. And this is what creates high performance cultures that people are attracted to and want to join. So I'm going to be looking at what are these 5 human psychological needs. I'm going to go into them in a little bit more detail. I'm going to look at why it's important, why it happens, that, why do human brains need this, the impact of providing these to people and the impact of not providing them to people, how to do it, and then next steps if you want to find out some more information on this. Very, very quickly about me, I'm an executive coach. I specialize in helping senior leaders, C-suites and the leadership teams build the confidence and the competence to achieve outstanding results. There's a few examples of what I've done on the left, but what I'm most proud of at the moment is I have written my first book called Leader Unleashed, which is coming out in Q1 next year. And that's all around helping leaders who are impacted by imposter syndrome. So keep an eye out for that if that's something that you're interested in. I've worked with a wide range of companies over the years. I'm not specific to any industry, although I was born and bred in pharmaceuticals, so you can see quite a few of the pharma giants in there as well, which is no surprise. But let's get back to you and the challenges that you're facing right now. We've heard in both the previous speakers about creating environments, that are attractive to people. But what do humans actually need to feel attracted to or repelled from something? And it's all about the human brain requires to feel safe. And I'm talking about psychological safety. And I want to talk to you about that in a little bit more detail today, because when we as an employee feel safe, we want to move towards the rewards that are being offered, which means there must be rewards there. If we are feeling unsafe, we move into what we call a threat state of mind. And when we're in a threat state of mind, our ability to collaborate, communicate, innovate, all of these lovely eights diminishes. Our feelings of fulfillment go down, our productivity goes down, and businesses and professionals, individuals are affected by this. So if you can create an environment that is rewarding and exciting and inviting to people, not only will they want to stay with you, but everyone looking outside in will go, I want to join you. I want to play your game. I want to be in this world that you're in. So all you need to do is know how to create this. And there's lots of ways to do this, but this is a huge one, because if the human brain isn't satisfied, it will be in a threat state and it will go into flight, fight mode and either disappear or just switch off. Either way, it's costing businesses a huge amount of money. So what's the impact of not providing psychological safety within your environment before what it is? It is people, when they are feeling unsafe, they are releasing cortisol, adrenaline into their system, which is what causes this flight or fight response. It's an innate response. Unless you know how to catch that, look at it, and understand it better, which most people don't, it can run on for a prolonged period of time, and it can impact our health. We know that. We've talked about burnout. We've heard about people with mental and physical health issues as a result of being overworked and overstressed. So there's a health burden. There's a physical and mental health cost, which is attributed to the absenteeism levels and presenteeism levels, which costs organizations a huge amount of money every single year. So it's worth knowing what this is and knowing how to do it for this alone, just to create a healthier environment. When you are not providing psychological safety to people, they feel a lack of fulfillment, which impacts their productivity. That's been said by Roy and Hanneke already. But the impact of that is huge. So we're looking at not just the absenteeism and presenteeism costs. And for those who don't know what presenteeism is, it's when people are unwell, but they're at work, and this can be mental or physical. So they're not able to contribute the way that they would do if they were firing on all cylinders. But this lack of fulfillment leads to things like quiet quitting and high attrition rates. And you bring all of that together along with the loss of productivity and the impact on business results. And the number you can see at the bottom of my screen, this 378 to 469 billion euros, is the cost per year of this happening within organizations across Europe. That's a lot of billions. So you've got a cost explosion and a talent issue, but what's actually causing that is mainly and significantly due to a lack of feeling attracted to an organization and feeling safe enough to stay. So let's have a look at how you can create that. So the 5 human psychological needs are: I need to feel valued, I need to feel informed, I need to know what's going on, I need to be trusted, and I need to trust you, I need to feel connected and part of the bigger picture, and I need to be treated equally. I need to be treated fairly like everybody else. Whose job is it to create this environment, the culture that allows this to happen? And it's, of course, the leaders, and it's the leaders from the top down. It doesn't start with middle or second line leaders, it starts at the top down. And this is where the problem always starts, is how well trained, how good are your leaders in your organizations at leading themselves first to manage their own emotions, and then leading others to create an environment where they feel psychologically safe. It's part of a bigger conversation. We don't have long for this today, but I'm going to look at these 5 things in turn, just so you can have more people like my happy baby on the right here that come to work going, yeah, I want to do this. I can't wait to get to work today. Imagine if everyone turned up like that, the difference it would make, and the culture and the vibe that you'd have would be awesome. So how do we help people feel valued? We need to be creating an environment where people know what they're doing and that they get feedback on that. What are you doing well? What could be even better? What did you do well, and why did you do that, so that you can repeat it? There has to be coaching, coaching for development. Even if I am what could be classed as a quiet quitter and I just want to do my job, there is still coaching to be done around that. And I'd like to talk to you about quiet quitting another time, because there's a reason that's going on. But also we need to be giving recognition, and appropriate recognition, to people. This isn't a one-size-fits-all thing where everybody gets a bonus at the end of the year. So this comes down to your leaders being good at and have a desire to develop people through feedback, through coaching, and through providing effective recognition. So some questions to ask yourselves here about yourself, if you're a leader, or your organization that you're representing today, is: how often are you doing this one-to-one with people? And how good are you at it? How good are you at feedback, coaching, and recognition? Have you been trained to do it properly? Do you get feedback on your own feedback, coaching, and recognition that you're doing? So how do you know how good you are, and how much better could you be? And remember, consistency is key. It isn't that you do this once a year. This happens regularly. It becomes part of the culture in what you do. The second thing is about being informed. So actually, I could probably have done number one first, but if you don't have a clear vision of where you're going and it's not exciting, it's not clear and concise and compelling, I'm not going to be excited about working with you. And if I am working with you, I'm going to soon forget why I joined you. So humans have a need to know, where are we going? Where's the peak of this mountain we're going to? Why is it exciting? Why are we going there? And how are we going to do it? So the vision is the long-term future. The mission is sort of the shorter term. What are we going to do in the shorter term to get there? And the goals are, what am I going to do as an individual contributor to help the mission and the vision be a reality? When you can align all of those things and I understand them and I'm excited by them, and you've connected them to my own personal motives, so my emotional connection is there. Not only am I inspired, but I can't wait to get out of bed in the morning and do my job. And I'll want to stay with you while this environment is possible. Make sure they're understood, all of these things, because people think they are. You can walk into a room of 20 people in an organization, ask them all to write down the vision and the mission, and they will all write something different. That tells you everything you need to know. So is it understood, and do you revisit it regularly? Because I can guarantee you in 3 or 4 months' time, what was compelling and concise back then will have been forgotten. So go back to it. How do I feel trusted? You're going to make me feel trusted if you give me boundaries to work within, give me ways of working, give me guidelines, give me the behaviors that are right for this place that I work in. So I know where I can bump up against to, where I know I'm safe to operate in, but then give me freedom to be innovative, to be creative, and remove this fear culture of mistakes. Celebrate my innovation, celebrate my creativity, help me grow, because then I know that I'm trusted to make up my own mind to do things I can do in my own way, but within the boundaries of the ways of working within this organization. How do I feel connected? I need to feel trust. We need to be trusted. I need to trust you. You need to trust me, and I need to be kept involved. When trust is high, time and costs always come down. To feel connected, to be trusted, you need to have a leader who is empathetic and credible. Most leaders, when you ask them what empathy is, can just about describe it, but they're not doing it and they're not using it. So do you know what empathy is, and do you know how to create that environment where you actually listen, ask questions and empathize and understand things from other people's points of view? It takes quite a big dose of emotional intelligence to do that, and emotional self-control to be able to hear without reacting. Check in regularly, create opportunities to collaborate and teamwork. Whether you are remote or not, this can still happen. Just create the opportunities, and you will see people feel more connected. Whenever there is an in crowd or an out crowd, you have a problem. And if you feel on the outside of something because you're being left out or these things aren't happening, you will feel disconnected. And the final one is be fair. Make sure this place is equal. Be open, be honest, be transparent, be consistent in all of those things, and treat me fairly. If someone's getting a bonus, give me a bonus if I'm due it too. Don't do things underhand. Don't hold things back if they're to share. Don't tell one group of people something, but don't tell another. As soon as there is a lack of equality, a lack of fairness, our feeling of fulfillment and productivity goes down, and that's when that threat response kicks in, and that's where people will either not want to join you, or they will leave, or worse, they will quit and stay. That costs an awful lot of money. Sorry, this slide is a little bit blurry, but this is all possible if leaders have been trained to be great leaders. And I'm sorry to say, but most haven't been given that opportunity, because emotional intelligence and these 6 leadership styles that create an emotionally intelligent leader are not covered well enough, for long enough, or consistently enough through the longevity of a leader's life cycle. And that causes a big problem. But when it is addressed, and when people are trained better, developed, coached, mentored to do this, you see a massive change in the culture, you see a massive change in teamwork and performance, but most importantly, you see a reduction in attrition, in absenteeism, because ill health is not as high because people aren't as anxious and unwell. Presenteeism and quiet quitting go down as well. So you can save an absolute fortune by training your leaders to be even better at what they do, and then everything flows from there. This quote from John Donne captures it beautifully. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man or woman is a piece of the continent. You know, what we do, we think is just affecting us. It isn't. Well, there's a ripple effect. And if we're good, the ripple can be just insanely brilliant. If we're not so good, the opposite is also true. So get the people right at the top, all the way through the chain, understanding more about leadership and how to do that properly. And you'll see a massive reduction in cost and a huge cost saving, as well as an increase in retention and people wanting to be attracted to your organization. For anybody that wants to learn more about this or speak to me, you can get to me in the old-fashioned ways, which is through my email, through LinkedIn. In fact, if we're not on LinkedIn and connected, do link in there. Or if you've got a phone with a scanning code on, you can scan that and book in to speak to me. And have a 30-minute complimentary coaching discovery session. I work one-to-one group and I do speaker engagements as well. That's me for now. I want to say thank you for having me, and I look forward to your questions, and I shall see you all shortly.